As managers, we shoulder the responsibility of driving our teams towards success. One critical aspect of this role is addressing underperformance within our teams. Why is it so vital? Because unchecked underperformance can undermine morale, hinder productivity, and jeopardize the achievement of organizational goals. But here's a catch. Addressing underperformance isn't typically that easy. Why? Because we are not just dealing with tasks, we are facing another human being. This discomfort with addressing underperformance often stems from two common concerns. Either we are concerned about how the other person might react, or we hesitate because we don't want to increase the stress levels of our already busy team members. Whatever the reason is, by not addressing it, it typically only gets worse. But that doesn't have to be the case. Join me as we explore a proven 3-step strategy that will help you address underperformance more constructively, effectively, and with more ease. And in case we're seeing each other for the first time, hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Sabine Renner. I'm an organizational psychologist, leadership coach and trainer, and on this channel I provide insights that will empower you to excel in your career and advance in your leadership journey. So let's dive into it with step number 1, which is to use the power of regular ad hoc feedback that helps your team members in understanding what is working well and where course correction is needed. Feedback is actually one of the most powerful managerial instruments essential in guiding your team toward goal achievement, while also ensuring the efficient utilization of their resources, particularly their time and energy. When you notice an employee falling short of assigned goals, the best thing you can do is to have a feedback conversation in which you share your observations and articulate the impact of their performance while emphasizing the importance of addressing the underperformance promptly. The purpose of this conversation is to help your team member to course correct. One of the mistakes I see happening far too often is that managers let days or weeks pass without addressing a looming performance issue, hoping that it will somehow magically disappear, wasting precious resources. Early intervention is key to facilitating a faster turnaround and improvement. Now, course correction typically means that something has to be done differently. In this regard, instead of just instructing and telling your team member how to do things, I invite you to approach this conversation with curiosity and a willingness to explore your employee's perspective to better understand the underlying problems and challenges. This way, you can collaboratively devise tailored solutions and, by doing so, foster a sense of ownership. Now, when it comes to exploring the root cause of underperformance, I think that there are several options that we as managers should keep in mind. Is it due to a lack of skills, motivation, or resources? If it's a skill gap, discuss avenues for upskilling, such as training, shadowing, or learning from colleagues. Or maybe you yourself would like to coach the team member. If motivation is lacking, outline the task importance for the team, organization, as well as the individual career growth. And in case of time constraints, collaborate to reprioritize tasks. Is there a lack of other resources, such as, for example, information? How can you address it? In case you wonder how to best deliver feedback, here's an easy to follow structure. It's called the 8 structure. A stands for action. Here you outline specifically what the team member has done, if you comment about a behavior, or you comment about the specific results. For example, Sarah, in the team meeting last week, I saw you do XYZ. Or Jacob, I had a look at the report you provided, specifically the overview of new contract signs, and I noted XYZ. I stands for impact. Here you outline the consequences that the results or the behavior had and why addressing the underperformance is important. For example, this is a concern to me because XYZ is of importance for the team or the organization. And then lastly, D stands for desire. Here you clearly outline what you would like to see differently and what needs to be changed or improved. Also discuss by when you would like to see the results and how it will be measured. In case you would like to see an example, have a look at the description box in which I share a link to one of my videos on feedback. Now, what is very important is to make this conversation a two-way communication stream. That means to ask for perspective and to invite your team member to share his or her thoughts on what might have caused the problem. In this regard, keep in mind that sometimes underperformance might be influenced by factors outside of work, such as, for example, personal issues. And while you don't necessarily have to solve these problems, being aware of them allows you to offer support or to adjust the solution approach accordingly. meeting. This will make it much more likely to find a solution that helps in tackling the issue. Also, you want to make sure that you have a shared understanding of the goals and how they will be measured. Alignment is really crucial for clarity and success. So step 1 is about providing feedback regularly, constructively and openly, and framing it as an opportunity to grow and improve. Now this completely changes the tone, and you may realize that by doing so, it's actually not about blaming or criticizing or creating pressure, but much more about co-creation of solutions. So unless you are facing an issue of severe misconduct, I highly recommend having this kind of conversation at least once, possibly even twice, and to only then move one step up in what I call the conversation escalation ladder. And this happens in step 2, when we change gears and switch from a normal feedback conversation to a critical feedback conversation. Imagine you've already had 1 or 2 normal feedback conversations but haven't really seen any desired improvement. If you've agreed on a timeline, reach out as it expires to arrange a follow-up meeting. Begin the meeting by acknowledging that, hey, we've previously discussed ABC and I would like to revisit it. I want to hear from you about how the execution went, what worked and what didn't. Listen attentively to their response. Ideally, the team member recognizes issues and seeks support and guidance. However, if they downplay the situation, it's time for you to express your perspective, saying something like, I appreciate your viewpoint, but I also observed XYZ, and this is different from what we've discussed in the past. Regardless of their response, reiterate the consequences of performance shortfalls and seek to understand their perspective of the underlying reasons behind the underperformance. Outline the necessary changes or results that need to be achieved. Shift the tone slightly from please do to I expect. Confirm a shared understanding and ask for their ideas on how to achieve this. Inquire about potential hurdles as well as the support required. If their solution seems insufficient, express your thoughts and ask for additional or alternative approaches. Summarize the agreed upon actions and seek confirmation, preferably in writing as well. Consider scheduling a short-term follow-up meeting to monitor progress closely in case of highly critical issues. The purpose of this conversation is twofold. First, you want to assertively emphasize your expectations, and second, you also want to make sure that the team member has everything that he or she needs in order to deliver. It's about reaching out and offering another time a helping hand while also making sure that the issue is clearly understood. Now, let's consider a situation where you have 1 or 2 feedback conversations, including a critical one, and there is still no improvement. This is when you, as a leader, must contemplate outlining the consequences if the underperformance persists. Typically, this involves discussing potential impacts on promotions, financial rewards, or, in cases of severe misconduct, potentially even the termination of employment. Preparing for this territory is crucial by seeking guidance and alignment with your line manager as well as involving the HR department. The key here is to ensure a clear consensus on the consequences between you and the other stakeholders. Any kind of misalignment can severely erode your authority and leadership credibility if consequences are introduced and then not enforced. By diligently following steps 1 and 2, you've demonstrated care, support, and a willingness to collaborate on solutions. This not only reduces the need for these challenging level 3 conversations by addressing issues early on, but also makes the entire process less stressful and more constructive for you and your team member so that you can focus on what matters most. I hope that today's content has been of value to you. If so, please show your support by hitting the like button and let me know down in the comment section below what kind of challenges you experience as a manager when addressing underperformance. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you're eager to learn more tips and strategies for success in your career and leadership growth, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more valuable content. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.